Good morning to everyone. And today our session on cryptography, and before starting the session, we go for presentation by Mohan sir and their team from Bhutan. And yesterday our session on social engineering. This is social engineering. Social engineering basically very critical nowadays. Anyone from collect information different way and try to hack their personal information and personal security and financial security, financial related matters. Earlier communication system only for communication, but nowadays communication system completely updated in the new scenario. It is not only for communication, it is for our life, part of life. So yesterday session, there are two sessions delivered by the two different our trainer, Dr. Sikha Krishna. This is the basic idea regarding the social engineering, different terms. And second is the AI implementation in social engineering. Now today's session depend on the cryptography. This session will be delivered by our Professor Nilufal Madam. I will warm welcome to her. Before starting session, I request to the Mohan sir. You can ready for the presentation, and I make you co-host for the time being.
Okay.
And you can share, you can possible to share your screen if you want go for, it is possible.
Okay. Let me start by wishing you all a very good morning. We have 30 minutes difference from India, so it's for us it is 10:16. I have the topic that I have chosen is regarding blockchain. I don't know how far I'll be able to deliver, but please. Mr. Samuel and myself, like two of us, be prepared, and he'll also help me in between to come up with certain explanations if at all required. The blockchain technology has been in the market for some time. Now let us see why and how it is gaining popularity. If you talk about the old way, the way we used to store our database, it's like the traditional database is being kept was being kept in computers, in database, in servers, or a backup computer. Maybe one or two administrators, they have access to the information in the database. And like that, if a person, a hacker, gains access to the server, then our information is at stake. So he can steal, he can, change the way he wants it. And even if the person inside the company can also destroy the data if he has access to that information. Or what if some criminal approached the company and offered to pay the employee, like the IT person of the company is being paid, saying that if you give me data, I'm going to pay you this much. So again, the company's information is being kept on stake. Now, to save the day, it's kept in blockchain. So it is considered as a superhero now because it prevents data being hacked and so on, and that's why it's often called as Captain Black blockchain. Giving a small explanation of blockchain, it is a digitized, centralized, decentralized public ledger of all the cryptocurrency transaction. Not only cryptocurrency, now it has been expanded to so many other organizations. And it happens, the data is being added and kept in a chronological order, and each node, a computer or a server, gets the copy of the blockchain whenever somebody creates or saves data on the blockchain. So each block has its own hash. It also gets a copy of its previous batch, and then it goes. The information in a blockchain is stored in the form of a block. The name itself, they got it from the concept of data being stored in the form of blocks, chunks of data. They have timestamps and labeled with a different identifier so that the data in the block can be connected together by previous information and by giving that block's information to the next. The blockchain is more secure because the data is spread over many different nodes in the network, and each addition or change to the blockchain must undergo verification by at least 50% or 51% of the nodes in the network. Just an example of how a buying and selling happens in crypto is, let us say, a company sends money to B. So the copy of the block is then sent to all the nodes, and with the information it is sent to all. And once, if all the nodes verify and confirm that yes, the transit is legitimate, then only the information or a new block is created and transaction happens. Just an example. Let me quickly. How blockchain works. If we go into the previous and the next information, it is clear. Data is being uploaded. Once the data is uploaded, all the nodes on the network is being informed, and they verify that it is legitimate. Once it's being verified, then only the transaction is confirmed and it happens. This is another example for Bitcoin. Alice wants to send Bob some Bitcoin. The process transaction is broadcasted to all. Then all the miners or nodes, they have to verify it. It's in the form of some kind of questions, formats. It's been already designed by using the smart contracts and so on. And once they verify, then the node is being added, the chain into the chain. Now, what makes blockchain secure? The database is distributed across computers, so it no longer is in one place. Transmission from peer to peer. So this makes hacking very difficult. If you want to hack, you'll have to have all the nodes at the same time. Transparency with anonymity. So some data can be public and some data can be private. If you don't want to show every information, then it can be kept as private. Records are permanent. Data is in chronological order and it's being time-stamped. So then we know that currently, if we want to change some data, then what we do is we update the database saying that in order in place of in place of value X, change the value of X from 5 to 10. So the old data is being erased. But in blockchain, data are not erased. It's being added to the chain. The latest data is being updated, whereas the old data is still there in the previous blocks and so on. And there are some computation transactions can be programmed with logics to trigger and automate processes with algorithms and smart contracts and so on. So whenever some event happens, triggers can be made to automate some processes. These are some public and private networks where if the company wants their data to be private, then it can be kept in private so that all people don't see. When new data changes happen, these are a few things that has to happen: the consensus between all the nodes, the consistency of formation of the block with confirmation from all, and the transaction has to happen, and it should not contradict with other information. And automated conflict identifiers can also be programmed to see if there are unwanted things happening. A small history of blockchain. Satoshi Samuel, can you?
Yes.
It's okay. Just one or two explanations on this.
Hello, good morning to all. So regarding the history of blockchain, I guess most of you might be knowing about the history of the blockchain. The white paper published by the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. So he's the main man, the main pseudo man behind the concept of blockchain. So from that, now these days there are a lot of blockchains. The first one is the Bitcoin network. Now the second largest and the mostly used is Ethereum. So in the Ethereum network, we can design the smart contract, and accordingly we can develop Web3 applications where all the applications are on decentralized nodes. So regarding the, if I talk about the security perspective of the blockchain, so at blockchain by the concept itself is not hackable. Since if someone wants to hack one node, then they have to hack all the nodes, and which is not possible at all as per the white paper. But recently we have during our research, we have found out that in Ethereum network, some networks are being hacked. So it's mainly depend on the developer. Usually when the developer design the smart contract, they have to be very careful. So which type of data to expose to the blockchain network. So there are some possibilities of security breaches in the Ethereum network. So, and there are now these days, there are a lot of blockchain networks are there. To name the few, there is Solano, the Cardano, then we have a Binance network. So these all are the present blockchain networks. Thank you, Mohan.
Thank you, Mohan sir. Any more? Just okay. Actually, next week is the totally our session is on blockchain technology. Okay, sir. Very nice. Just before starting the next week, we just you introduce this technology. So we are enjoying the next week on blockchain technology and add on more and more this information also in our session delivered by our expert. Okay.
Okay, well, just one or two slides with a few pictures. The benefits of the blockchain, a lot of points can be raised out, but yes, we can go through. There is a reduction in transaction cost, and some often say that the transaction is slow, but compared to the new technologies as mentioned by Samuel, the Solano and so on, the transactions are becoming much more faster, and it's efficient, more secure, and it's being now used worldwide, mainly because of the security concern. Of course, there are disadvantages as well. What we could find is there is these are the 5 main advantages: improved data security, We don't need a middleman to do the buying and selling of things and so on. And some advantages, let me not go through each one of them. There's 3 points. Some disadvantages as that to be pointed out is to some extent the process is slower, high consumption of energy due to its working process. Sometimes it becomes inefficient, and there are examples where there are losses of huge losses of budget, and then the online digit values. It's expensive to maintain the network, and as of now, it doesn't allow interoperability. It's difficult to integrate to our existing legacy systems. It's not mature, so people not really understand it thoroughly and finding it difficulty to adapt, and so on. The advantages and disadvantages, and some of the applications of the blockchain here. Samuel, sir, if you can just give a small thing on
this. Thank you, Monza. These days, we are finding a lot of application on blockchain networks. To name few, the blockchain has we can use blockchain technology in the finance sector. So currently we are to just give you few example. Currently we are developing one smart contract for the financial system. So in that way we are using the blockchain Ethereum network. Since Ethereum network is quite faster than a blockchain Bitcoin. So for your kind informations, usually whenever we develop applications on Web3 platforms, we should consider about the efficiency and speed. So from our from our perspective, we think that we think that Ethereum is quite faster. And with the launch, the Ethereum team has announced that they are going to launch Ethereum 2 blockchain network on maybe mid of August. So that will tackle all the problem that Mohan sir just mentioned, the disadvantage of blockchain. So previously they are using a concept called proof of work. So proof of work consumes a lot of electricity, and also now they are moving to the concept called proof of stake, where each miner have to stake their coins to participate in the network to verify the legitimacy of the transaction. So in we have these days most of the countries are trying to use blockchain technology in finance. So I think in the future most of the financial systems will be on blockchain network, so in the Web3 platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, Samuel. And these are some of the examples of the prices of the cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin, Dogecoin, and so on. The prices, of course, they are being now. The price of a Bitcoin is so high that you cannot think of affording even one. But looking at how things are going on with cryptocurrencies, I believe that soon, as mentioned by Samuel, sir, the blockchain is going to now be utilized by, in fact, all of the systems that's going to come up, not just in financial, but in education and all the different aspects of the data, wherever data is concerned. This is the end of our slide. I thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to present. I hope we could help our friends to understand a little bit of blockchain.
Thank you. Very nice presentation, both of you. And definitely it will be help our team to the next week blockchain technology week. And thank you, both of you, ki in short duration you make this presentation, and hopefully ki everyone enjoying this session, and also expect other participants. They will be next day. Tomorrow will be anyone tomorrow? No. Anyone tomorrow for presentation? Anyone? By default, remaining participant, Mayo on 18 July, Priya on 19 July, Silas on also 19 July, Sakti Pong 20 July, Samuel, and you are today already. And Sarah ma'am, when you are comfortable to this presentation for such types of presentation from your team from Iran? Are you comfortable? You can go for such types of presentation. Sarah ma'am. Veera sir, when you are when your time fixed? Next week. Sarah ma'am may also next week. Okay, next week the two hectic schedule. Okay. Thank you. And Veera sir, your date is also required when you want. You are also confirmed today. Maximum participant confirmed, but this week, tomorrow we have separate time before starting. You can go for such types of presentation. Okay, let's decide and then inform to me. Okay. Amit sir. Amit sir, are you there? Amit sir, Amit sir. Amit Singh sir, already, I think you are already 4 years back before Corona pandemic. I think you come here LTTC for the physical training. Cyber, I think network defense. Yes, yes. Sir, you also such types of presentation when comfortable. You can take time and decide, then we can inform to me. Okay. Thank you, sir. Any day of next week. Okay, no problem. Okay, thank you. Now our today's session is the cryptography. On behalf of LTTC, our guest speaker, Nilufal Yasmin ma'am, professor. She is the professor and more than 10-year experience around in the teaching and cryptography research center and cryptography field. And today, full session delivered by her, and I am thankful to her. She give me opportunities, and we take all time advantage of her experience, her knowledge, and she international trainer already many times deliver training in International Telecommunication Union organization and various types of our different big pursuits. And thankful ma'am कि you are joining delivering for your cryptography session here, our APT participant. On behalf of LTTC and on behalf of APT, warm welcome to you. And hopefully, I think you are ready for such type presentation. Yes. So I hand over to session to you, and comfortably I am available all time here, and a lot of questions from your side and our side also. Okay. Okay. So ma'am, now you are welcome from on behalf of LTTC and APT participant and session.
Thank you so much, sir, for such wonderful and warm welcome. Very good morning Namaskar. Welcome everyone. I hope I'm audible. Thank you. It's very good to see you all after such long time. I mean, after Corona and this pandemic, it would have been great if physical, but still we are connected. That's the power of technology, right? So apart, still together, still on the same platform to talk about technology and to take us towards more advanced technology. That is what our goal should be, right? And I am also using this green background, which is an initiative from ALDTC, just to ensure that we are working in favor of our planet. We are working towards a green planet. This was the idea of Sir, so I really appreciate that. And I hope we all work towards making this world, this planet, a beautiful green planet. So with this welcome note, I welcome you all. So we do have many participants here. So not to mention all of your names, I might not be that good in spelling that. Please interrupt me if I am wrong somewhere. So welcome, Mr. Samuel Pradhan. Good to see you
Hello.
here.
Hello, madam. Hi.
Mr. Mohan Subba. It's good to have you here. And it was a wonderful presentation from both of you.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed it. We have, I think few of the participants are missing. So still, I would love to name them and greet them if they ever get to know. Mr. Chen Yuan, Mr. Lin Chen, and Mr. Yuan Zhang from China. I wish all could have joined. Mr. Ryong from Korea. Mr. Varun Chaudhary. Mr. Farhanaz, sorry, Miss Farhanaz from Iran. Welcome. Miss Sarah. We have Mr. Domingo, Mr. Teriana, sorry, this is Miss Teriana, Mr. Lut Ochir. It's just, I want to name everyone so that we get to know each other a bit more. And did I introduce myself? As Sir introduced, my name is Nilufal Yasmin. So my hello and namaskar to everyone. So I just want to name each one of you so that we add a personal touch to the next 2 hours that we are going to be together. Mr. Bilgan, Miss Myomi, Mr. Sharoj, Mr. Chamur, Mr. Veerapat, Mr. Saktipong, Mr. Selesh, Mr. Veera, Mr. Amit, Miss Batagoda, Miss Priya Lakshmi, Mr. Todsaporn, Mr. Vichayu. I am very sorry if I have misspelled some names. I would like you to correct me whenever we interact. And it's so good to see you all here. So I am receiving in the chat box hello from everyone. So please, I apologize if there was some pronunciation errors. And in some time we will interact, and I would love to hear from you, right? And anywhere, if you feel like that I'm not audible or something that I have to stress on, or I have to, repeat or go with the pace which you are comfortable in, please let me know. So let me share my screen. So we are going to talk about cryptography essentials, the very basics of cryptography. I know you all have been talking about what should be kept secret, how we should communicate to keep our messages secure in this cyber world. We have been talking from past couple of days. Now I will take you to the journey where we talk about the briefs of the science that helps in making this communication secure, right? So this is the outline of the lecture. We talk about what motivated us, what are the basic terms associated, general goals of cryptographic system, the vulnerabilities that we face in such systems. We will definitely talk about brief history of cryptography, right? And how it started. We should talk about the classical cryptography, then how we switched from classical to modern, and now what are the trends these days, right? So first of all, what is cybersecurity? And before cybersecurity, even before this question, I always start my lecture with the term communication. We all are familiar with the term communication. I know we all are belonging to different background, but we are pretty aware of what communication is, right? So can I have some replies in the chat box that what communication is? The basic term communication. Please feel free, whatever comes to your mind. I would love to see your responses. I got one response. Let's type something. What is communication? Okay. So I see connection is communication. I see data or messages being sent from sender to receiver. That's how communication can be explained. Exchanging information, correct? Share our idea with others with an understandable way, correct? It's a very good term we have introduced, understandable way. Transfer information, right? Connection, transfer, exchange. What? Information or message. So what terms we get here? Connection, transfer, exchange. Three terms of what? Of messages or data, right? And in what way? In an understandable way. And through communication media. So if I collaborate all these terms, what I get is exchange between two parties, A and B. Exchange what? That is information or data or message, right? Through what? Through a medium. So if I talk about exchange of information between A and B, these could be my sender and receiver, right? What do they exchange? Is the data or message. How do they exchange? Is through some media, right? And what B receives from A should be in an understandable way. This is what we have been doing since ages. When we were not even humans, maybe we were some kind of apes or monkeys, or if we go back when we were blue-green algae, if we go back to the humankind, how it started, how this universe started, when we were microorganisms, from there we developed to some kind of apes, and from there civilization started. Even if you see animals, they do communicate, right? What is communication? Exchanging some information, like you and I are doing right now. I am talking, I am the sender for a while, you are getting to hear my voice. So I am the sender or the transmitter, you are the receiver. What do we exchange is some audio message. I am talking. And is it understandable? Yes, because we are using English language, which I think all of us are comfortable in listening and understanding, right? So when I talk here, the media is wireless, right? If I go into depth, it is a combination of wired and wireless communication, because my laptop is connected to the Wi-Fi router, which is wireless, but the Wi-Fi router has some connection with the main center with some cable, right? But when it reaches from that router to free space, that is your wireless communication, and it reaches your end wirelessly. So we can see there is a complete path involved from A to B. It's not a simple media. It's not a simple path. It's not a straight road. It has to be a combination of wired and wireless media. Many devices are associated. Many people in between are involved. So if A and B are just talking casually, hello, how is the weather? Okay, I see there is no need of saving the data, preventing the data from some other person to hear it, to listen to it. But if they want to communicate something in secret, which they don't want a third person to hear, they should be very cautious, because there are many devices, many people involved in this path, and they don't want other person to hear it. What do? They should come up with some engineering solution to hide their data, right? So that's where cryptography or encryption comes. So what is basically encryption? Hiding or wrapping your data in something that makes it looks like unusable to the third person. And when it reaches the intended receiver must be able to unwrap it, see it, understand it, use it, right? So that will be a meaningful, secure communication. So why cryptography? Why communication? We are talking about the motivation. So we know that cybersecurity or information technology security are the techniques of protecting computers, networks, programs, and data from unauthorized access or attacks that are aimed for exploitation. The third person could read it, could alter the data, could destroy the data. So whatever attempts are made which are unfavorable to this data exchange, that must be avoided. So what is the defense mechanism? Cryptography, right? Why cryptography needed? If we don't use cryptography, it will allow the hackers to view or steal unencrypted files. Unencrypted means the same message that A and B intends to share. Hello, my name is Nilufal. If on air the data goes like this, that is my unencrypted file. But if I change, hello, my name is Nilufal, into some other thing, like suddenly I start talking French, you won't understand. So that will be an encryption for you. So coding or cryptography can be used interchangeably, right? Coding is a vague term. Cryptography is a part of it. What is the motivation? We know that everywhere there is information exchange, whether it's you and I talking, whether it's you talking to your family over phone call, whether you're uploading some content on web, whether you're sending an email to your boss, whether you're sending some text message to your friends, there is information exchange everywhere. You know, this world cannot run without exchange of information. And when we exchange information, we need to make sure that my information exchanges occurs in a secure manner. So one of the essential aspects for secure communication is cryptography. What that word actually means, I'm going to discuss that. You know that cyber crimes are causing serious financial losses. An existing system needs constant modification in order not to compromise with the security levels. So for this purpose, an insight to the complete crypto system is required. True? So I hope we all understand the motivation, why this complete science of cryptography came into existence. Do I have any questions? Like, do you have any questions till now? To understand why, what is the need of cryptography? Everything is ongoing, communicating. We are talking, communicating. So what is the need? Okay, thank you. I got one response that, see, whether we start doing research, whether we start with any activity, we should be very clear about why we do this. Why? That is the question. And when we are done with the thing that why, the motivation is clear in our head that why we are doing this. The next question is what should be done. So the why is clear. Why we are studying cryptography, that is clear. Now the thing is, why we are studying cryptography? There is a lot of information exchange. We need to secure that. Now the question is, what are the ways to secure it, or how do we secure it? So let's break this term. Cryptography. Crypto has got two, it is a combination of two separate words, cryptos and grapho. Can anyone tell me what language it is? Cryptos belongs to which language and grapho belongs to which language? Please give it a try. Cryptos. I got one response. Greek, great. So it's a Greek term. Cryptos in Greek, cryptos means hidden and grapho means write. So keeping messages secret. Whatever we write, if that written thing can be hidden in one way or another, then that can be called as cryptography, hiding my written text, right? So initially it originated with the idea of hiding what we write. Because if we go back in times, think of the kings and the rulers. What was the main motive of people that time? One king used to have a kingdom and his motive was to expand his kingdom. He used to, and there used to be wars, there used to be battles, right? And when there were troops walking, going far days after days, and if the king wants to send some messages to his soldiers, what they used to do, they used to write on a pen, on a paper with the help of some ink. They used to roll the paper, they used to pack it and seal it, right? And they used to send that message with the help of a messenger over a fast moving animal, because that time technology was not that advanced. We didn't have telephone, we didn't have emails, right? So the only way was to send the physical message with the help of a person. So writing the message on a paper, rolling it, keeping it in a box, then providing it with a seal. And the person used to go on horse, because horse was the fastest animal that time. Now imagine the other party captures that person and they read the message. So the next strategy, what the king wanted to tell his or order his soldier, get revealed to the third party. And in that case, what could have happened? This king would lose the battle or the war. So just providing it over the horse stock with a simple seal wasn't the solution. They came up in that time with some solutions, like they used to shave head of a messenger, a person. They used to write the message on it, and they used to wait for some time for hair to grow on it. And they used to send that person, and that would take days. And in between, if the person is caught, maybe the other third party, they don't know where the message is. They used to look for it. He doesn't hold any paper, nothing, because it was written on his head with hair grown over it. So this is just a way that I am discussing with you, that they used to think in that conventional way. But now we have technology to do this for us. So cryptography is the science of hiding our messages. And these days, messages are not just text messages. It could be pictures, it could be audio, it could be video, or it could be text. So we have different technologies to hide our messages in different ways. So cryptography is the science of hiding messages, right? So here are some terms that we need to familiarize with. The message, the information is also called as plain text. It is sometimes called as clear text as well. Clear text. Plain text or clear text. Message, information, plain text, clear text. Please keep note of all four. These can be used interchangeably, right? This is the readable, non-encrypted data. Now, consider cryptographic system to be a black box. A black box, I give input. What I get is an encrypted data, right? So you can consider cryptography or this complete system to be a black box. You give input some readable message. What you receive at this end is some unreadable message. So the process that converts a plain text into an unreadable form is called as encryption. So encryption is my next block. One thing for your information, I'll be floating questions in between as polls. So please keep note of all these things. And these will definitely be no pressure. This is just an interaction session to make you familiarize and to develop your interest in this. Because when I was a child, I was in my master's thesis. One of my instructor was working in this field. And as I belong to army background, my father served for Indian Army for 32 years. So I was very fascinated with how military works, how do they communicate. I was so spellbound by the discipline, by the level of secrecy they used to keep. My father always used to say, when A and B are talking, C should never even have a hint of what they're talking. We should always do that. You never know who is listening to us and who will misuse our data, right? So one of my instructor at that time in my master thesis, I was so inspired by him that I chose this field for my thesis, for my research. So come back. I'll keep telling you my stories. So encryption, plain text, message or information. What we do is called encryption, changing into unreadable form. And when I change it into unreadable form, the encrypted message is called as ciphertext. So you need to memorize few terms, plain text or message or information. After conversion into unreadable form, it is called as ciphertext, right? This is a non-readable format or encrypted data, non-readable. So third party, if gets a hand on it, will not understand. Now, when A and B are intended transmitter and receiver, so after it reaches B needs to decipher it because it is still unreadable. So B has to apply some mathematics to read that. So after the mathematics is applied, and what this procedure is, we'll be talking about. That conversion of that unreadable message back to the readable form is the process which is called as decryption. And after this decryption is performed, what we get is again our message or plain text back, right? So some science is involved here, some science is involved here. So here some engineering is involved, here reverse engineering is involved, and we'll study about it. So here are the terms: plain text, encryption, ciphertext, decryption, and then back to plain text again. I hope it's clear, right? Similar picture. Now, how do we encrypt it? For encryption, there has to be some engineering applied. A very famous term here we use is a key, right? And how can I relate it to key? I'll show you that. Are you guys aware of the XOR function, Boolean algebra? If we know, if you have studied about XOR functioning, I am talking about the bits 1, 0, 0, 1. Anyone aware of it? Hardly matters. I can tell you other way how this happens. So I got one response. No, right. So in Boolean algebra, what happens if I have a message? You know a fact, right? That if I have these 4 bits, 1110, bits we know, right? Are we aware of bits? Yes. So what are bits and how have I come to bits? So let's talk about the natural signals available. The temperature rise, the humidity, the flow of wind, or the talking we do, audio message. Okay, so one among us have some meeting. No worries, you may please leave, and whenever convenient, please get back. Right. So we were talking about the messages, like you and I are talking. This is an audio message. If you would have been sitting in front of me, then this message would have traveled to you with the help of air. Are we aware of this? If I make this room vacuum, you will not be able to hear me, because air is the media that needs to carry my information from my mouth to your ear. I am talking about the physical scenario. Suppose you are sitting in front of me, right? Then my audio message goes to you in this form with the help of air. But now as you're far and you're hearing me with the help of your internet connection, so my analog signal, that continuous analog wave is not going as it is. It has to be first converted into digital form, because most of the communication we do these days is in digital format. So even my audio signal first converts into bits, like hello. If I convert this hello, I'll get hundreds or thousands of bits, 11001010, right? Right? So suppose my message on air is 11110, like I sent before. If I want to do encryption, I will not send 1110. For this, I'll choose a key. Key will be something which is secret, which I and you know. Like I and Krishna sir, we share this message 1110. Beforehand, I tell Krishna sir that the key for this communication is 4 times 1. So what I send is, after XORing this, XORing means first bit with first bit. XORing gives you, if bits are similar, you get 0. If bits are different, you get 1. So XORing of 1110 with all ones will give you 0001. Can you see? 1 below 1, similar bits, you get 0. 1 below 1, similar bits, you get 0. 1 below 1, similar bits, you get 0. But 1 below 0 is yes, XOR, XOR. It's XOR. It's a Boolean function. It's a sort of mathematics. So if I give you a question like, yes, exclusive OR, correct. Or is exclusive OR. So if I give you a question that my message is 1010 and my bit is, key is 1111, what will be the output of XOR? Let's try this. Yes, I got one response. You can try, and if that doesn't attracts you, that's still okay. It's true. Correct. I'll tell you a simple way of doing it. You check the first bit of both. And if they are similar, that gives output 0. If they are different, that gives you output 1. So check first bit, 1, 1, similar, we get 0. 0, 1, these are different, we get 1. 1, 1, these are similar, we get 0. And 0, 1, these are different, we get 1. So we all are calculating it correct. Right? So now see here, my message was what? My message, everyone see the chat box. My message was initially 1010. 1010. This is what I intended to send. But on air, what do I send? After XORing, I send the data. So what do I send? So my message or plain text, everyone check the chat box, plain text or my message is or was 1010. But what is my ciphertext? What I sent on air is my ciphertext. And what is my ciphertext? What is my ciphertext here? Yes, my ciphertext is 0101. And how do I get it? I get it when I XOR my message with a key. And the key, see, so when third party reads the message which is present on air, what the third party will hear, what the third party will get? 0101. But is it the correct message? Is it the correct message? No. What was the correct message? 1010. But how do my third party retrieve back message from 0101? Until and unless he knows the key, again have to XOR with the key. So after it is sent to B, what will B do? B will try to change the cipher text to plain text. And how do we do it? You know, the cipher text was 0101. This is the cipher text. If I ask you, yes, decipher it. If I ask you to decipher it, what do? You can XOR it. Please check the chat box, everyone. XOR it with the key. What was the key? What was the key? The key was all ones. All ones. So when you XOR 0101 with 1111, what do you get? 1010. And was it the message? 1010. Was it the message? Yes, it was the message. Correct. Are we all together? Are we all understanding what I'm talking? Please share your doubts now. So you have landed up with the very beginning engineering of cryptography. Okay. Thank you so much for your responses. I see here many of us do understand. So if we don't understand it, still I have a message here. I do something about it with the key. And after doing something, what do I get is unreadable form of message. So if a third party hears that, get an access on that, he won't be able to read it because that will be a meaningless message to him. But the key is only with the receiver and the transmitter. So the receiver can decrypt it back and get the plain text back. Right? Like different kind of coding you also do. Like maybe you follow a particular language X. You and your mother, like a guest has arrived and you want to tell your mother secretly something. You don't want the guest to hear that or to understand that. What do? You talk to your mother using that language that the guest doesn't understand. So for that guest, that is a ciphertext, right? So as simple as that. So the key is you and your mother says French. So they start talking French and the third person doesn't understand it. So French here is the key. So the simplest form of engineering involved in cryptography is the XOR function that I have explained to you. Right? So until and even if it is the simplest form of XOR, you will not retrieve back the plain text until and unless you have the key. So the strength which is provided to cryptography in this whole procedure is with the help of the key. So we get to know here how important key is here, right? Key is very much important here. So if we talk about certain terms which are involved is cryptology. Cryptology is the art and science of making and breaking secret codes. Cryptography is called making secret codes. Crypt analysis is called as breaking secret codes. Why do we study crypt analysis? Even if I am a coder, I am making my system secure, I should be aware of how hackers can break it, what are the procedures it can be broken. So, studying to break my code will also give me an insight to how weak my code is. So even this study is also important. So cryptography is making secret codes and crypt analysis is breaking secret codes, right? And this complete system is called as crypto system. It is a pair of algorithms, one for encryption of data and another is for decryption of data. So crypto system is the complete system. Encryption is scrambling a message or data using specialized cryptographic algorithm. And what kind of algorithm it could be? I have given you a simple example of XOR so far, but XOR is too simple. Sorry. XOR is too simple to perform. We do follow series of steps and those steps makes an algorithm, complete procedure. Plain text is the message or data before it gets encrypted. Ciphertext is the encrypted version. Cipher, what is cipher? This is an important term. Cipher is the algorithm that does the encryption, right? Let me show a video. I hope you're able to see.
Nilufar ma'am. Nilufar ma'am, actually ऊपर जाके ना राइट साइड
Yes, sir.
साउंड शेयर करने का भी ऑप्शन होगा ऊपर में.
Okay.
अब ऊपर जाएंगे 3 बटन दिख रहा होगा राइट साइड में, तो क्लिक करेंगे सबसे ऊपर में है नहीं, यहीं पे जो आपका जूम का जो है जो ग्रीन कलर का यू आर व्यूइंग जो लिखा हुआ है ना.
Where, sir?
यू कैन गो द अपर साइड ना, देयर साउंड शेयर का ऑप्शन होगा, तब आपको साउंड आएगा, कंप्यूटर का जो साउंड है. आप ऊपर की तरफ जाओगे ना, एक काम करो, आप ऊपर एक ग्रीन वाला वो दिख रहा होगा ना, ग्रीन वाला ऊपर आपका जो ग्रीन, जब माउस ले जाएंगे ना जहाँ पे आपको ऊपर वो आ रहे होंगे ऑप्शन, ग्रीन जैसे ले जाएंगे तो सारे इसमें ऑडियो वीडियो का ऑप्शन आ रहे हैं ना, जो जूम का है, जूम का.
I have stopped video, security, participants chat and.
आप रिक्वेस्ट कंट्रोल आप एक्सेप्ट करो मेरा.
Okay.
एक्सेप्ट कर लिया तुमने?
I got the remote.
Ma'am, there is that
Just one ma'am. One sir, one
video, it's kept in mute and unmute.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Let's do one thing. Krishna sir, can you play this video on my behalf? Mm.
आपने मेरे को एक्सेप्ट किया ना?
Sir, let me send you the link.
आप ऐसा करो ना, जूम में ऊपर जाओगे ना तो ऑप्शन नहीं है जहाँ पे आपने शेयरिंग वेयरिंग का किया था। शेयर कहाँ से किया था आपको? अभी भी देखोगे शेयरिंग ऑप्शन आ रहा होगा ना ऊपर में।
Yes, sir. New share में.
उसके राइट साइड में आप जाओगे ना, 3 जहाँ पे एडिशनल ऑप्शन दिए होंगे, क्लिक करो, आपको एक स्क्रीन तक खुल जाएगा बहुत सारे।
एक सेकंड, आप ये देखिए।
वीडियो कॉल और वो सारे होंगे, लाइट में आप जाओगे ना भैया। नहीं, ये स्क्रीन नहीं, जूम पे ही फ्रंट में आ जाओ, आप अपना वीडियो ले आओ।
Just a minute, I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you. Can you be a little bit loud?
ओके।
Yes, where, sir?
हाँ, या दिस लाइव स्लाइड योर वेयर जूम जो ऑप्शन है ना ऊपर में, जूम में
थोड़ा sir, can you be a little bit louder? I cannot hear you.
आप म्यूट कर लीजिए, मैं आपको कॉल कर रहा हूँ, तब समझ में आएगा।
Or give me a call. I cannot hear you.
Yes.
Hello.
ऊपर जहाँ पे वो आप करोगे ना, जहाँ पे जूम का वो सारे ऑप्शन दिए हुए हैं ना, जहाँ पे जूम आप मेन जूम पे जाओ। ऊपर एक ग्रीन कलर का नहीं आ रहा आपका स्क्रीन या जो भी लिखा हो, वो फ्रंट पे लिखा होता है बहुत सारे।
Hello.
कर लीजिए पहले। हाँ, मैं कह रहा हूँ ऊपर जहाँ पे वो दिया होगा ना, ऊपर सारे जो ऑडियो वीडियो का ऑप्शन दिए होते हैं ना, ऑडियो वीडियो का ऑप्शन होता है ना, मैम ऊपर जहाँ पे ऑडियो वीडियो का ऑप्शन होते हैं ना, उसी में आप राइट साइड में जाएंगे ना, जूम वाला नहीं आ रहा है, राइट साइड में एक्स्ट्रा बटन दिए होते हैं, 3 बटन जो होते हैं उसके लिए प्रेस करिए, मोर में प्रेस करिए, उसमें आएगा शेयर साउंड कंप्यूटर का लास्ट में ऑप्शन दिया हुआ सेकंड में। इसको करेंगे तो कंप्यूटर का साउंड शेयर होगा और वीडियो आवाज में शेयर स्क्रीन कर वो जवाब उसको भी जाए माइक और स्पीकर वाला के बगल में स्पीकर वाला और करिए ना, स्पीकर वाला इसी के बगल में स्पीकर को बना हुआ ना, आपने म्यूट कर रखा है 0.5 जहाँ लिखा है
cipher was used by Julius Caesar around Imagine two people who share an important secret have to split up. This requires them to communicate private information from a distance. However, an eavesdropper named Eve also wants this information and has the ability to intercept their messages. So Alice decides to communicate using letters written in some kind of secret code. The following analogy is helpful. First, Alice locks her message in a box using a lock that only her and Bob know the combination to. This is known as encryption. Then the locked message is sent to Bob. When Bob receives the box, he opens it using the code they shared in advance. This is called decryption. Cryptography begins when we abandon physical locks and use ciphers instead. Think of them as virtual locks. Ciphers allow Alice and Bob to scramble and descramble their messages so that they would appear meaningless if Eve intercepted them. Cryptography has been around for thousands of years. It has decided wars and is at the heart of the worldwide communication network today. The fascinating story of cryptography requires us to understand two very old ideas related to number theory and probability theory. Imagine two people who share an important secret have to split up. This requires them to communicate private information from a distance. However, an eavesdropper named Eve also wants this information and has the ability to intercept their messages. So Alice decides to communicate using letters written in some kind of secret code. The following analogy is helpful. First, Alice locks her message in a box using a lock that only her and Bob know the combination to. This is known as encryption. Then the locked message is sent to Bob. When Bob receives the box, he opens it using the code they shared in advance. This is called decryption. Cryptography begins when we abandon physical locks and use ciphers instead. Think of them as virtual locks. Ciphers allow Alice and Bob to scramble and descramble their messages so that they would appear meaningless if Eve intercepted them. Cryptography has been around for thousands of years. It has decided wars and is at the heart of the worldwide communication network today. The fascinating story of cryptography requires us to understand two very old ideas related to number theory and probability theory.
So I hope that you gain something from the video. They're talking about two things. One, are we all good? Okay. So from the video, we got to know that when we abandon physical locks and we depend on some lock, that could be a combination or a key. Then comes cryptography. So here in the video, you have seen Alice and Bob, they shared the key sequence in advance. So the same thing happens here, like we share the key before. Here, if Alice and Bob knows the keys beforehand, then they can abandon the physical lock. And one thing, if you might have heard that cryptography has decided the fate of wars. We will talk about World War II. In World War II, encryption was used for the first time. And imagine Germans didn't know about cryptography. Then the outcome of World War II would have been something different.